Yeah,
So
but
you could end up with Justin
but
Fields.
I'm not saying Jason that Andy Dalton's good here. It's just hilarious that you have $100 million quarterback and he's throwing his QBR is at 20.7.
Who gives a fuck what his
Actually,
QBR
no,
is?
I'm sorry. 20.7. That was week 1. He had a
I
20.2
cannot wait
yesterday.
for Dak Prescott to be a Chicago Bear and they throw $45 million at him, and you bitch and moan all offseason and talk yourself into Andy Dalton as a full-time starter because you go 6-9-1 or 6-10 and win a division. I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
No chance that happens. I can't wait for Carson Wentz not to do anything and not ever go anywhere and be miserable.
You've talked yourself into 4 quarterbacks in 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm just trying to have fun in this season that is miserable.
All right, welcome to episode 27.
Are we record? Oh, I didn't even know he started recording.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Welcome to, we think, episode 27, might be 26, could be 28, but we think it's 27 of Birds vs. Boys, powered by Branded Sports and brought to you, as always, by Stateside Vodka, who now has their bourbon available. Make sure you go to statesidevodka.com to get your vodka, get your bourbon, and it can be delivered to your home in Pennsylvania in time for Thanksgiving, since the bars have to stop serving alcohol in Pennsylvania by 5 p.m. Wednesday evening. So Kmess here with you, the winner. It feels great. I am 3-7. It was a beautiful win. Andy Dalton to Dalton Schultz for the win. We're back, baby. I got my Super Bowl hat on that's older than Aidan and Vince combined. It feels good to win. How are you, Aidan?
Look, man, who gives a shit what episode it is? Numbers don't matter. Days don't matter. Life doesn't matter. Alcohol matters when you have to watch this offense. So I'm sad that they closed the beer stores and liquor stores.
But you have Stateside Vodka.
But I do. They Stateside hooked me up, so I didn't even have to go on Wednesday. I'm ready to roll. I'm ready for Wednesdays and then also Sundays at 1:02 p.m. when things go south.
Before the game even starts.
Just like kickoff and then whatever mistake we make first.
All right. Well, we'll get into the surging Dallas Cowboys and the flubbering Eagles soon. But as always, on our Tuesday episodes, we go a little around the NFL. But Aidan and I thought we'll do a little something different for this around the NFL. Producer Vince always puts 60 seconds on the clock, and we walk through each game that happened on Sunday, except for the Eagles and the Cowboys game, because we dive into it later. But it's a short work week. We have Thanksgiving this week. You all have smartphones. So teams won, teams lost. Look it up on your fucking phone. Okay?
I agree. You know what? There's too much to get into. And also, when you watch the Eagles offense and then watch other people's offenses, we're not even playing the same sport right now. So why would I tell scores in a different sport of football?
It's like giving soccer scores in England.
We get pretty close to having soccer scores.
I do want to jump into one topic before we get into your miserable team and my phenomenal surging team. Joe Burrow. Hate it. Yeah, RIP. It was they weren't even I was watching Red Zone, and Scott Hansen, but it could be Chris Hansen, was like, they're not even showing replays here, folks. We're going to stay here. Everybody stay on the CBS game. Let's see if they show a replay. And he's like, they're not showing a replay. Let's go to Jacksonville. And then they went back to show the replay. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I think they're getting. There's been too many gruesome injuries this year. I think they're keying in on what to show on replay and what not. And the fact that he grabbed the back of his leg, like when you usually tear your ACL, you grab the front.
Yes.
Or you throw a touchdown pass on a torn ACL if you're some people. But when he grabbed the back of his leg, that's when I was like really scared. I was like, this is more than just an ACL, which it was, which just like really sucks. And just the curse of FedEx Field continues on and on and on again.
You don't throw a touchdown pass with a torn ACL. I believe you throw a 2-point conversion.
It was 4th and goal. So, yes,
was
it was a touchdown.
Oh, I
Yep.
thought he scored on it when he.
No.
Oh,
It
okay.
was 4th and goal, touchdown pass, torn ACL.
And he hasn't been the same since.
Literally has not. But also, that's when Frank Reich left, and that's when all the coaches left. So I think we know the real problem. I'm not crying about it. I'm just stating a fact. Would you like to go first, or what are we doing? You did win.
Did win. Yeah, I'll go first. So Dallas Cowboys with a big win in Minnesota against you like that. They were 7-point underdogs last week, sitting at this very table, talking into this very microphone, looking into this very camera. I said I didn't know how the Cowboys were going to stop Dalvin Cook. I didn't know how they were going to stop Adam Thielen, which they did not stop Adam Thielen. Didn't know how they were going to stop Jefferson, which they kind of didn't really stop him either. They did stop Kyle Rudolph. My prop bet was that I thought at any time Kyle Rudolph touchdown was a lock. Nope. I guess the Vikings knew the only way to fully destroy Aidan was losing and having Jefferson and Thielen be the only people that score, correct?
Yes. I'm back to hating the Cowboys. I was tricked and hoodwinked and bamboozled by these nice Cowboys people coming on and being our guests. I hate you guys again. I hate you. I hate you so much. I hate you so much. Literally, I lost in fantasy because no one in your secondary can cover a soul and gave up touchdowns to Adam Thielen twice and Justin Jefferson deep ball. Of course, Justin Jefferson, of course. And then they lose. So
and I have Adam Thielen.
Nothing for me. And Skip Bayless is dancing all around the screen. This is hell. Helen, we're in the threshold of hell.
And I have Adam Thielen, so thank you for those 2 touchdowns against this horrid Dallas Cowboys secondary. One bright spot for the Cowboys secondary. I don't know if you did you catch much of the game?
I did catch the game. I don't know what the bright spot is when they gave up that many touchdowns.
Donovan Wilson, so safety that was playing a lot in place of my guy, Darian Thompson. It seems like they finally got it right. They're playing Donovan Wilson out there, and he looks like a young Roy Williams out there, just wrecking people. He hurt Adam Thielen at one point. Thielen had to come out because he just popped him and he hurt his hand. And he was the guy that just popped Dalvin Cook when he had that catch, and then it was a fumble. Dallas recovered. So he was out there laying the lumber, actually looked like the only bright spot in the secondary. Anthony Brown getting a contract extension from this team in the offseason just shows you their ineptitude in finding talent for the secondary. Now, I'm not going to kill them on that fully because they did find Diggs in the second round this year. He looked like he was coming along as a rookie, even though they were throwing him one-on-one against number one receiver after number one receiver after number one receiver this year until he got hurt right after he picked off Carson Wentz twice. But the rest of this secondary, I mean, Awuzie was his first game back. Jordan Lewis just stinks. The secondary can't stop anyone.
I guess the bend but don't break was in play. I don't know. I feel like this was more on the offense kind of finding themselves and having 2 running backs, not just one, who played well, and Andy Dalton seeming to get in rhythm with all of his receivers. I feel like this was more of a offense gets it going than defense paves the way kind of game. Although, I mean, the defense didn't play badly. It's just they only played badly in the portions that could screw me over the most.
Now, one last point on the defense, and then I have a question about the offense for you. So Clown Lawrence, who I used to call him, is again. I took him out of the clown car, and he's officially out. I mean, he's still been balling. He played really well in the run game again on Sunday. The defensive line seemed to really be playing probably the best out of the entire unit, if you want to say. Jalen Smith still kind of looked lost, especially when he picked up that fumble and then he just didn't really know what he just was running. And I think the other guys were like, "Wait, did he?" Why? No one wanted to like tackle him because they're like, "Okay, Jalen's just being Jalen," and they just let him run for about 35 yards. But the offensive side of the ball, who do you think was the leading receiver for the Dallas Cowboys Sunday?
Well, CeeDee Lamb made a bunch of big plays, but I feel like Amari Cooper was probably the leading receiver. Is that correct?
Oh, quietly, 6 for 81.
Yeah. That's his MO. Like, you don't hear about it, and then you look at the stat line, you're like, oh yeah. But sometimes it's like he goes 2 for 21, and you're like, oh, I forgot about him. But this time you forgot about him in a good way.
Yes. And he came up with that huge 4th down catch on the last drive to extend the game, I guess you could say, for the Cowboys, giving them a chance to win. CeeDee Lamb, though, I mean, he was quiet. He only had 4 for 35, I think, but he had that touchdown catch in the corner of the end zone. That was just outrageous. I mean, Vince is putting it up on the screen. The way he adjusted in air to that ball, was just, I mean, magical. Look at that. How he just, I can't imagine being able to do that with my body. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You said it in a very interesting way, but yeah.
Like, can you imagine being able to do that? And then literally just holding on to it one-handed. I mean, it's the anniversary of the Odell Beckham one-handed catch. Adam Thielen had an amazing one-handed touchdown catch in the opposite corner of the end zone. But this, I mean, top 3, top 5 catch of the year, you think?
Well, this year for sure.
Yeah, no,
I don't
for
know
the
about
season.
ever. But no, for the season. Just this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And two other huge bright spots for me was, yes, Andy Dalton. However, he will sometimes throw his receivers into getting their heads just knocked off.
Yeah.
He almost got.
He's like, this is karma. You guys let me get my head taken off. Here you go.
Here it comes.
I'm taking your head off.
I thought he was going to get CeeDee Lamb decapitated across the middle. And he had the interception that Kendricks had that was just way behind Schultz.
Yeah. It was also a great play by Kendricks, though.
It was. The ability to just move your body and change directions while seemingly in the air by Kendricks was just phenomenal. But Dalton Schultz looked very well again. He seemed to be almost his go-to guy on the last drive. He had the game-winning touchdown catch, the first time ever. I think it's definitely in Cowboys history, maybe in NFL history, where the touchdown game-winning is from a guy whose last name is the same as the first name of the guy who caught it.
Who thinks of these stats? Like, who found that?
I saw it on Twitter, and Brad Sham, I think, tweeted it, or one of the old Cowboys guys, and I was like, "Yep, that is the exact tweet I would expect from an old guy." And I'm an old guy, but like a real old guy.
He also could have just made that up. Like, who's gonna fact check that? I wouldn't even know how. Like, who's gonna be like, "Oh no, there was this time when Todd Dalton threw it to Dalton Todd." Like, no one would ever know that.
You know, it would be really funny if Twitter just put like one of those disclaimers on the bottom of the tweet.
Yeah, sources say, and at this point, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, well, that's just Photoshop. He must be joking around." They'd be like, "No, he's just lying about Andy Dalton's touchdown passes."
This is not true.
This is not true. We're trying to tell you and warn you.
I was also very happy with the play calling yesterday. There was a couple plays. It just wasn't the normal. Here we go. Andy Dalton and Dalton Schultz just connected for a touchdown. This makes the first touchdown pass NFL history, which the passer's last name is the exact match for the receiver's first name. That is from NFL Research on Twitter.
Whose job is that? Like, who applied for that job? And now, like,
Vince did.
Vince.
Yeah, the Who Cares Award. Congratulations. But definitely a thumbs up to Kellen Moore and the offensive staff for thinking outside the box, finally getting guys in motion. That 2-point conversion where they, gave it to Zeke and then he pitched it out to CeeDee Lamb. It wasn't that just Jason Garrett-esque Kellen Moore double tight end, boring run pass offense. They were getting moving. They were getting guys in motion. Everything that was promised in the offseason that was coming came offensively on Sunday. They were the team they promised to be this year on Sunday, even without Dak. And speaking of Jason Garrett, I don't know if you heard this tidbit. There happens to be a whole rigmarole that Joe Judge is not happy with Jason Garrett and all the love that he's been getting with the play calling and the offense. And there is a chance that Joe Judge fires him in the offseason. Very real possibility.
That would be wild. But honestly, if you're Joe Judge, you kind of have to do it because
right?
If you slip up, this guy's going to take your job,
He's going to cut your head off from behind you immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Con Air when the one con was once that guy successfully took over the plane, once they got to the island, the other con was going to take over as the leader. Jason Garrett is the skinhead con who's going to take over all of the convicts when they get to their private island somewhere.
Yep. And I think Garrett just sacrificed Mark Colombo. He probably said something to Colombo oh, you know what Joe Judge said about you? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Dread it, run from it, but Jason Garrett is going to take your job.
He is, but honestly,
and then he's going to hold it for 9 years and just be mediocre.
It's fine with me. I could deal another 9 years of Jason Garrett in the division going 6-10, 8-8. It's fine with me.
He's definitely getting older because now he wears the glasses on the sideline too, and he's squinting at his paper. I love it.
Don't love the glasses look from any coach because I'm like, oh, you're old. You never see Lincoln Riley wear glasses in college football, and he runs the most successful offense that there is. It's
I believe Lincoln Riley is younger than I am.
Maybe when he first started, I don't know if he still is. You guys might be the same age.
Vince, how old is Lincoln Riley?
Nope, 37.
37. Okay.
I think when he started, he was your age.
Yeah.
Your age now.
I am younger or older than CeeDee Lamb and Spencer Rattler, though. That's nice to know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I also saw in that clip that Vince just pulled up, future Eagles coach Eric Bieniemy is 51 years old. So we have plenty of time with him.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time, plenty of ice cream.
He's 51. So that's a lot of years to be the head coach of the Eagles.
All right, my last point about the game, and then a little bit looking forward the Cowboys. So my biggest bright spot of this game was the offensive line. Finally, it came out that they were not going to be stupid, stop doing dumb things, idiots, and having Terrence Steele out at right tackle just because they felt like we found a gem in undrafted rookie here, and we want to keep playing them because we found a gem. Well, you found a gem, and then it turned out it was a fucking pebble, okay? The gem is not worth anything. Throw the pebble back into the lake and let it die in the bottom of the lake.
With the lady.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Until she wakes back up, picks up the pebble, and she walks.
Let her play around with the pebble. You avoid the pebble.
Yeah. It is a broken, dead pebble. But
don't wander around the house with Steele.
Yeah. Just let her play with the pebble.
Let her play with the pebble.
But they did what a lot of Cowboys media people, a lot of fans have been clamoring for. They put all-pro right guard Zach Martin. They bumped him out to right tackle. And they brought Connor McGovern in to play guard, who they've had a high grade on, drafted him out of Penn State, and then he was injured last year. And the offensive line looked good. They were protecting Dalton. They were run blocking. I mean, I think you could put Zach Martin at any position on that line, and he could be a Pro Bowler. I mean, he played left tackle in college. He is a all-pro at guard. I guarantee you he can play center. And now he's like, oh, you want me to just go out to right guard and just dominate people and look like a Pro Bowler, okay, no problem.
Well, we had Jeff Kavanaugh on, and we were talking about that with him, and you guys said that like weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe, are we smarter than NFL head coaching staffs and front offices? Because some of this shit just doesn't seem hard.
Yes.
You know, like this decision seemed easy to make a month ago, and they are just now getting around to it. And I don't get how hard this is.
I honestly think it is an ego thing where, like, again, seriously, they found this kid Steele out of Texas Tech. He was an undrafted rookie. Apparently, the offensive line coach liked him. They thought they, were outsmarting the entire league by finding this kid, and they plugged him in there, and they wanted it to work so badly because they knew that. I think they knew that Lyle Collins was going to miss the season before the season. I think they just played it along. When your hip is hurt like that, chances are your hip's just not going to be better in 3 or 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I think they found this kid and were like, you know what, he's good. He's a diamond in the rough. We found the needle in the haystack, and the haystack lit on fire, but they still wanted to continue to say, nope, we're good. He's out there. He's our guy, until they could no longer they couldn't do it. But the amazing thing about it was, and Kavanaugh talked about this too, is they never talked about Connor McGovern. He's been on the team now a couple of years. He was a high draft pick, and there was just never talk about him. They're like, yeah, we love Biadish, the new center out of Wisconsin. But actually, no, they say Biadaz because Jerry and Stephen Jones have no idea how to say his name. You drafted the kid this year, and they're on the radio. Jerry Jones was on 105.3 The Fan last week with RJ Choppy, and he's like, RJ goes, give me some players that mid-season that you're very happy with. I love that Biadaz kid. That Biadaz boy sure can play some football. And they just let him, like, why doesn't the PR guy, like, just sit in Jerry's office for 20 minutes and be like, all right, we're just going to Biadaz. All right, that's close enough. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, old guys just refuse to learn new things sometimes. Like, have you ever tried to teach like an old person something on the computer? You can teach it to them 8 times. They're still going to screw it up. That's how it is with Jerry Jones. Like, he's not going to learn that kid's name. It's almost out of stubbornness at this point.
I've tried to help my mom, like, put the closed captioning on her TV 100 times, and it's
never going to happen.
Never. It's the same process each time. But I think that's also old guys, stubborn, don't want to learn new things. That's exactly why they kept Terrence Steele out there until yesterday. But it worked out. Martin looked great at right tackle. McGovern looked good inside. They're obviously playing Joe Looney again at center because Biadaz is hurt. But the line looked good, looked formidable, and they were paving holes for Zeke. It was his first 100-yard rushing game of the season, if you can believe that. But Tony Pollard, man, you and I said it last week, and I texted you during the game. He just has an extra it factor. He has that juice. That run that he made for the touchdown, Zeke can't make right now.
I know. He's got that next level burst. It's like he hits a mushroom in Mario Kart, and he's just like, he's out of here. Hits that second level, and best of luck to the rest of the defense because you're probably not catching him.
That's a 9-yard run for Zeke yesterday.
Yeah, which he'll probably even take a 9-yard run at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, no, I was when I was talking to Cowboys insider Matt Yost, and I was telling you this last week, he thinks the Cowboys are going to go on a run and go 9-7 and win the division. I don't know. I don't know. I think obviously mathematically the Eagles still have the advantage here. I think the tie is really going to catapult them into the playoffs. I still believe that. I think it could come down to the end of the season now because Cowboys have some winnable games. We'll get into the Thanksgiving Day special against Washington on our episode that will drop on Thanksgiving. So while you're carving your turkey, you can listen to Birds vs. Boys, when you're carving the bird.
Like how Nick Chubb did.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it was, some team tank, but it felt good to be in a game that wasn't a shootout until really the fourth quarter. It was slow going, little back and forth, and then bang, both teams just turned it on in the fourth. But it was fun today was fun as a Monday, learn how to win a little bit again. And I think it is good for this team, and it's great for Mike McCarthy and his staff and his, I don't want to say likability, but his persona and
Morale.
there's going to be guys that are back on this team obviously next year, and it also helps drawing free agents. So winning is good. And I keep seeing people say, Lamb was a later round pick. So was Zach Martin. So was DeMarcus Lawrence. You don't have to be the top 3 pick to get good players. You just need to find the good players. So it is true. Do I want them to win the division now? I don't know. But winning is fun.
I love how you guys talked yourself into Andy Dalton, and then you talked yourself into Ben DiNucci.
Is it the Nucci?
And then you talked yourself
was
into
not active. Not
Garrett
active
Gilbert.
Yesterday.
And then you talked yourself back into Andy Dalton, all while talking yourself into tanking, and now have talked yourself the direct opposite route into winning the division in like a span of a month.
No,
you guys
I didn't say I want to win the division. I said I don't know.
I think you want to, though. Like, I think that you want to.
That's just a competitiveness.
If you win on Thanksgiving, we are 1 win away against Washington, which would put you in first place from saying that you want to win the division. You're like, oh, let's just go for it. We'll do it. Maybe we sneak in. Maybe we catch Tom Brady off guard.
It would be right. Game. Right now, it would be the Bucks against the winner of the NFC East.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like the best spot for any other team? Like if you can't get the 1 seed, are you like, wait, let's try and be the 5?
No, because then you have to play the 1 right after that.
True.
So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that because we are like 1 Cowboys win away from you guys talking yourselves into beating Tampa Bay in the first round. You guys are like a worm. Like if it rains, the soil's just going to send you in a direction and you're just going to go that direction no matter what. And you probably poop out of your mouths too. I don't know.
I'm like the guy from Men in Black. The bugs just walking down the street. Just
yeah.
Wherever the bugs are, that's where I go. It's great that Vince wasn't even watching that though. All right, let's get into the birds because I know this is going to be fun for you.
That'll be tremendous fun and great time had by all.
It's hard watching the Eagles.
Thank you. Well, yeah.
I felt like I don't like them. I was at my wife's uncle's jewelry store, Gem Jewelers, who has sponsored the radio, that has sponsored here, helping decorate for Christmas yesterday, and they had TV in there. And I was like, this is like, I almost felt like tired watching them. It's like exhausting.
It is lethargic. Okay, yeah. Let's get started. Let's unravel. This team fucking sucks. Also, they are boring. Also, I hate them. End of show. Thank you for coming.
Good night.
Good night. See you on Wednesday for the Thanksgiving special. I mean, you're right. It's like painful to watch them play offense. And you and I watch Kyler and DeAndre every week for fantasy purposes. So we're always watching Arizona. We are not playing the same sport. This is not even close.
Not a chance.
I hate this team so I don't even know. There's so many terrible things to unpack. It's like reading a book from a series of unfortunate events where you're like, oh, well, the parents died and then their house burnt down and then they lived with their uncle, but their uncle was a scumbag. Like, it's like, where do you start with the shitty things that this team does that makes you feel miserable about yourself? It's really hard.
I can't argue with that because
I didn't think you would.
Even though the Cowboys like stink, like they still have a little bit more sizzle, I guess, to them. Like you still have like.
Well, look, buddy, we're like less than a month from you getting embarrassed on Monday Night Football.
No. And I'm not saying they're a better team at all. I'm just saying I feel like being an Eagles fan and watching the Eagles play offense is even more exhausting than me having to put up with the Cowboys.
When you were at your peak rock bottom, I don't know if that term actually makes any sense, but
Peak.
I think it was pretty bad. Like when you
it
guys
was.
when you were getting embarrassed on Monday Night Football and like didn't even try. And who was the other game where you got blown out? In
Arizona.
Arizona was the first one. There's another one in there.
Oh, the Browns.
The and the Browns. Like between those two, like it
was bad.
It was bad. Like that, it felt hapless. But that's what the Eagles feel like now. Like this is when the Sixers were in the bubble and Ben Simmons gets hurt, and you're like, well, I'm just rooting for this hapless corpse that's going nowhere. And you can tell, like you can tell that this needs blown up, and everyone knows it. From me to every Twitter user to people on the team to even the coach when he gives his press conferences, everybody on this team knows something needs to change. Like it is what it is, and they could still win the division, but it does not matter. Like there's just no way that they are coming back in this form next year. Like there's just no way that this coach or this GM or this quarterback, like all of them, keep their job. There's no way that set of that trifecta is back in this form next year. Not a chance.
You know what I feel the offense is kind of like? It's like the lat pull down machine, not the one where you're pulling from the stack, but like the ones that you're pulling down and it has the arm that goes out. And you see it go up and down, but somebody could hold the arm so it's more tension. Like you put in 180 and you fully have Carson Wentz has the mentality of, okay, I know what I'm going to do here. But then Doug Peterson's on the other side holding the down. So he went to pull it down with 180. He thinks he's going to do it. And then he's like, what the fuck? Because Doug Peterson's over there holding it down on the other side to make it even harder.
Back. He's given him so much tension that he's now become one tense individual who just does nothing right. You're totally right, though. Like it's like a push and pull thing where it's just rigid. Everything's rigid. We talked about it last week.
He's trying to open. Carson's trying to open the door, and Doug's on the other side and just holding it like he can't. You know what I mean? There he is.
Yeah, Doug has worn glasses before. That's the issue. Coaches who wear glasses are not creative geniuses because you're not young anymore. If you wear glasses, if you can't see the plays, then how can you call them correctly?
Did Dick Vermeil wear, this is way, I don't think Vince was alive, but look up if Dick Vermeil wore glasses when he won the Super Bowl coaching the Rams. Best show on turf.
Well, I love how
sure he had glasses.
I was going to know if that was the case. But while he looks that up, I will get into my spiel about this team and how much I hate them.
Go.
If I hear the term, we have to stop shooting ourselves in the foot one more time, I'm going to shoot myself in the skull.
Glasses.
Well, he was a defensive coach. He didn't call the plays on offense, right?
No. Well, he's celebrating. Look at him. Look at he took him off right there. Thank you.
I know. I'm just saying he was the defensive guy. He was not their offensive guy. The offensive guy can't have glasses. All right, we're spending too much time on Dick Vermeil and the Rams. The Eagles are too bad for me to care about what the fuck Dick Vermeil did in fucking 1932 during Prohibition. Anything before 2000 does not matter. Who cares? This team sucks.
They do suck.
Okay, so they always here's the timeline. I am living. Remember that literature book when the guy went crazy because he kept seeing his footsteps because he was walking on the same path a day after day after day. That's what I'm doing with the Eagles. I wake up, they lose. They come, they do their press conference. They say, well, we have to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. Then they show up on Sunday. They drive the ball down the field. 8 runs on the first drive. Fantastic. Throw on the run by Wentz to Goddard for 22 yards. Perfect. They're running it down the Browns' mouth. Look, perfect game plan in the rain. Fumble on the 4-yard line. It's like, you can't even say stop shooting yourselves in the foot anymore because you've shot yourself in the foot so many times that doctors had to saw off your leg at the knee. There's nothing left to shoot off. You shot off your entire leg at this point.
With a sawed-off shotgun. Game. It's not a handgun. You're shooting yourself with a sawed-off shotgun in the
sawed-off shotgun, like in Call of Duty. And it's Miles Sanders. There's like so many people who should get Carson Wentz a really, really nice Christmas gift because he takes all the blame and these idiots make the same mistakes. Like Miles Sanders, since he was at Penn State, has had the most inopportune, momentum-killing fumbles I have ever seen from a running back. Like he had one against Ohio State, and I was just like, that is a back, like that changed the game.
Yep.
And again on Sunday, driving down the field, perfect opening drive, fumble. Like, he is just the king of momentum killing fumbles. And it's just like, there's so many people. The fact that I'm going insane. I can feel myself. I am becoming the Joker. All we talk about is this goddamn quarterback. And everyone on this team sucks. 52 people are not getting the blame that they deserve.
He's like the guy that walks into the club looking fly. And the girl's like, all the girls are looking at him, and he goes to the one girl. He's like, yo, can I buy you a drink, shorty? And he goes, she's like, yeah, please. And they go to the bar, and then she orders a drink, and then his credit card gets declined.
Yes,
And then she
there's
walks
always
away.
a catch. You know,
Yep.
like, this can't be as good as advertised. That is what it is. He looks fly. And then you get to the 4-yard line, and he fumbles the ball.
Because he's got no money in his bank account.
Because he has no money in his bank account. But think of the Rams game, week 2. They're like, all right, we made too many mistakes against Washington to win that game. We lost to an inferior opponent. He fumbles on the first drive against the Rams. Like, it's like, I cannot do this for 8 more weeks. What the fuck do you guys do for 5 days in practice? I just don't get it.
The ice cream.
Yeah, they just eat vanilla ice cream, I'm so glad that that's Doug Peterson's favorite flavor of ice cream, because guess what? That is his offensive game plan, vanilla. It is horrible. Like I keep saying, they are not playing the same sport.
Nope.
There's no creativity. There's no innovation. It's boring and lethargic. And I know the weather was super bad, so it was kind of tough to do anything when it's pouring down rain. Also, another thing, does the sun exist in Cleveland?
No, we talked about this last week. No.
That's what I thought.
No.
Do they just show up at the coin toss and they're like, all right, heads or tails? And if you win the toss, you get to choose what do you want to do with the ball, or you get to choose if you want to play in hurricane gusts or a monsoon, like,
or snow coming soon,
or a blizzard. Like,
it's like in Madden. It's like in Madden when you're making your exhibition game. That's fake. That's not real. That's when you're making.
Look, wind 17 miles an hour. They don't have a nice day.
You know, in Madden, when you're choosing your game and you get to choose the weather, like sunny's not an option. It's like rain, light rain, medium rain, heavy rain, snow, or blizzard. And you're like, wait,
like the field filled with puddles.
I would like to play in the sun, please.
Yeah, no. Where's the sunny and 65 option so I can see what the hell I'm doing when my receivers run a route? So
Baker Mayfield has more commercials than Cleveland has sunny days in a year.
Yeah, even in the commercials, it looks cloudy. How is that possible?
I know. Turn on the lights in the stadium.
Yeah. It looks like they play. Oh, my God. It's basically a backyard football game. It is ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, that was another aspect of that ruined the offense. But still, you can't blame the offense because it's like this every week. It's not because of the weather. It just happened to be the excuse yesterday.
Yep.
It didn't change the fact that the offensive line sucks. Doesn't change the fact that they don't have a number 1 wide receiver, and the number 1 wide receiver, who is supposed to be, makes $15 million and anchors this team to him. Like, I don't think people realize how bad this Alshon situation is. Like, they can't go out and get a star player. They can't make a trade for DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason. They can't really get anyone because they've got $15 million attached to this guy who didn't play for half the season, showed up. He has 3 targets, 0 receptions. He was the cause of an interception yesterday because it was one of the worst missed times, jumps I've ever seen. Like, this is sad. It is sad watching him play football. And they have no choice but to throw him out there because they owe him $15 million.
He's like the old dog in Family Guy. And it's sad. And he's just dragging his leg. But Doug Peterson's the old guy that's just, come on, dog.
Which,
throwing him out
sadly enough, I have already used that analogy for Jason Peters. So now we have 2 old dogs.
Exactly.
We have 2 old dogs. They have no functioning limbs left.
But they're out there.
They don't need to be. Like, this is the most asinine part of all of this is like, why? Here is a perfect example. Yesterday, the Saints started Taysom Hill, and you can have your opinion on Taysom Hill, but Sean Payton's reasoning is we have to know going forward. Like, we can't just sit this guy and make him a gimmick guy forever. We have to know if this guy can play and could be a starter going forward beyond this year. Why is Jordan Mailata on the bench? You have to know. Jason Peters is 38. He is not going to be here next year. He is not even helping you this year. He can barely stand up. He can barely play 4 quarters. Why the fuck is this guy on the field? That is my biggest problem with the Eagles right now, is just how tone deaf they are in decision making, because they have a short-term view of the room, which is a terrible thing to have as a front office and a decision-making staff. It leads to mistakes all the time, but even in the short term, they're not talented enough to win. So they have no long-term view, and they can't even win in the short term. So, like, what is the point of this Jason Peters thing? I don't get it.
Do you think it's loyalty to a fault?
Is it loyalty? Because how loyal was he when I mean, I do get your point. Like, I think it is loyalty to a fault, but it's like, you brought in this guy to play guard, and then you needed a tackle. Did he show you loyalty? No,
Nope.
He took you hostage and asked for more money, and now he sucks playing tackle. Like,
Which you
and
knew
then
was
they
going to
come back
happen.
today after he sucked and then commit to him again. Like, is it loyalty? Or are you just an idiot? To me, like, it's blind loyalty, and just part of that, and it's partly loyalty and partly just ignorance. Like, it is decision makers who, you know what? If you're making these short-term decisions, it's probably because you realize you're not going to be here next year to care about if Jordan Mailata is good or not. That's what it screams to me.
Yeah, and that's terrifying as a fan.
It goes back to the
Because-
conversation we just had about Zach Martin. Like, are we smarter than these guys coaching the team? Because we figured this shit out a month ago.
It's not that difficult.
It's the same thing. It's not that hard. But that's what drives me insane about the Eagles. There are some things that are 50-50. Like, there's some things you can talk about. Like, the other situations in the offensive line, like, it's a tough decision. And like the Alshon thing, it's a tough decision. He makes $15 million. So, like, you want to have him out there, and he was good for you in the past. So do you want to have him take away snaps from Fulgham? I don't know. Like, that one's tough. This one's not tough. They are overthinking everything that they are doing. They are such in a rut. I have never seen it from a team. Like, from other Philly teams, it's because of lack of talent. They obviously had bad decision makers, but this is just strictly everybody in this organization is in such a rut, and they are overthinking every single thing that they do. It is a mess.
How do they get out of it?
There's just no way that they can go into this next season with Howie Roseman being in charge. Doug Peterson, if he's going to be the coach, has to have an offensive coordinator. And the way things are going, like, I don't even think he wants to be here. Like, he hates the media. He looks miserable. I don't think he gets along with the front office. Like, he could go somewhere else and probably get a job because he has a Super Bowl ring. I just don't think he wants to be here. I think that Carson Wentz would be better somewhere else. And I don't know if he thinks that, but it's true. Like, I tweeted this today. It's like, I wonder, we've talked about this before. Like, I wonder if Carson Wentz, like, thinks about how better off he'd be in Indianapolis or Carolina, and away from this GM who can't draft, and this coach who can't call plays, and this line who can't block, and these receivers who can't run and catch. And then he takes all the blame for everything that happens. And he is not absolved of blame because he makes stupid decisions and he is still forcing things. But he takes 100% of the blame, and 100% of the team is making mistakes right now. From the coach to the players. I don't even think the fucking water boys fill up the water correctly at this point. They cannot do a single thing right in this locker room.
You just hate to see it.
Screw you stupid worm. Go talk yourself into the 5th string quarterback.
I don't even think, who would that be? Would that be talking myself back into Ben DiNucci?
Who's the other guy? You brought in Garrett Gilbert and you brought in somebody else. Who was it?
Oh, Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. You haven't talked yourself into Cooper Rush yet. So
I'll never talk myself into Cooper Rush. He's been here before.
Have to. The way this year's going, I mean, this carousel goes around. Who knows with the Cowboys? Who knows? Is it funny that our fan bases have done a 360 in a classic well, how the turntable situation?
Yes. Whoa.
And now there's people on the Eagles side being like, they just need to tank the season. And the Cowboys are like, well, you might have a chance in this division still.
Meanwhile, the Giants are just sitting there. I still think the Giants are somewhat scary to win the division, which I would not mind.
They're on a bye, so it's like they're getting
Kind of forget
forgotten
about
about
them.
just because they didn't play yesterday, and 2 of the teams won, and we looked horrible, but they're out there.
Yeah, and they have a solid defense. They at least give high effort on defense.
Something. Uh, that's my other problem with the Eagles is I can look at every team in the division and say something nice about them. You know that part of my take skit that they do? Say something nice about X team.
Yep.
I like say something nice about the Eagles right now. Like
Let's do it.
what
Hold
sticks
on.
out
Let's
to
do
you
this.
that you're like,
Let's do
this is going well. They look good here.
Say something nice about the Giants.
I think their skill position players got healthy. I think Daniel Jones has cut down his turnovers. I think the defense is much improved. I still question their offensive line.
More than
And
one.
Jason Garrett looks like he's learned from past mistakes. That's 4.
Okay, and I would say I agree with those. I would also say that I think Joe Judge has this team playing very hard and playing to win,
Yes.
which is something that you didn't see out of this team the last couple of years. All right, say something nice about the Washington football team.
Oh, close. Defensive line is one of the best in the league. Chase Young is immediately an impact player on that defensive line, and I don't even know if he's the best player on the defensive line yet. That front 7 is scary, and we're going down the same road as we talked about last time when you guys played each other. So, with that front 7 coming after Andy Dalton, so I don't know that's been my nice thing that I've been saying about them for weeks.
And they sneakily have the number 1 pass defense in football.
Mhm.
And I feel like they are a better football team with Alex Smith.
They definitely are. I'm just glad he's playing football, but Dwayne Haskins sucked. There's nothing you can say that leads me to believe he was ever good.
Give me something nice about the Cowboys.
CeeDee Lamb. I miss him so much. Among other things, like their defense is not a turnstile anymore. Somewhat. Zeke looked better, but it looks like they can spell him with Pollard. Amari Cooper played well. Like they've always had skill position players that are great. So you can say something like
I feel like this was like the last 2, like they played Pittsburgh and they had a bye, and this seems like they're playing a lot harder and they're kind of figuring stuff out. It seems like on both sides of the ball.
We talked about that back when they were going through their stretch where it was just hideous. We were like, at the bare minimum, they're not even giving the necessary effort. If they could just give the necessary effort, they'd be okay. And here we are, like they're doing the bare minimum, which is their job and trying at their job. So I do think they're much improved in that aspect.
Eagles?
The green pants looked cool.
I was going to say number 49, the linebacker with the long hair. He seemed to play pretty hard yesterday.
Alex Singleton is I will give you that. We have found a good linebacker who is a solid B. Congratulations to the Eagles scouting department for finding a linebacker when they couldn't find anybody that they wanted to draft in the 2nd round who wasn't a fucking backup quarterback in college. I'm at the point, I'm just going to say it because I'm getting so sick of this Wentz thing. I'm like a smidge close to just being like, you know what? Fuck it. I want you to start Jalen Hurts. I want it to be a disaster just so I can say I'm right. I won't watch the games anymore if he starts. Like I will be totally out on the team that I have loved for 25 years. But if he starts, I am done.
I'm pretty sure I still need to go back to the episode before week 1 because I'm still almost positive you said you were not going to watch any other games if they lost to the Washington football team prior to the season start.
If that's true, I should have listened to my own advice. I would have saved myself a lot of stress. What else? Let's see. What else do I have? Because I keep going to the Wentz thing because it's just so annoying to hear about this. Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up about Wentz and why I think he's still important, but it's also just like shows like the glaring weakness of the team. So Trey Thomas brought this up and it was a great point. It was Sunday Night Football, I think it was a week ago, or maybe Monday Night Football, and it was the offensive coordinator sitting with the quarterback, and he's like, "Look at this," and like a bell went off in my head. I'm like, he's right. Like you never see that in Philadelphia. It's always Wentz and Sudfeld sitting together. There's never a coach with them, which is so odd. And then on Sunday, Wentz was coaching the offensive skill position players. Like he had the iPad in his hand
Yep.
and he's like directing them like on the sideline, like pointing and trying to show them things. And I'm like, why is it that they brought in all these offensive geniuses? None of them are the offensive coordinator, but they brought in all these offensive skill guys in the offseason. And the quarterback has to be the guy to tell the skill position players where to stand so that he can hit them in the chest with the ball or Hail Mary 7 yards over them, depending on his throw. Like, it's just insane, the systematic failure of this team.
No logic.
There's no logic at all in anything that they do. It just, from the Jason Peters thing to the fourth down conversions to the Jalen Hurts thing, like they are in, like I keep saying, they are in the rut of all ruts. They're in a serious cold streak.
They're fun to watch.
It's I can't keep doing it. I just can't.
I can tell you're just exhausted.
I'm exhausted because it's like, it's not just the losing, it's how they're losing. It's how people are reacting to the losing and like cyberbullying, like a receiver online and just shitting on this quarterback. And just after we just went through this with the Sixers, where you blamed Embiid and Simmons for all the issues and they built a shitty roster around them with a coach who wasn't good enough and a GM who didn't know what the fuck he was doing. We just went through this, just did it. Same with the Phillies. Bryce Harper. Oh, like, all right, let's blame it on the stars. Like they built a bad team around the star player. Now you are seeing the repercussions of that. Like we are just through that with these other teams. Like you have to go back in your brain 2 months. And I know that's hard in 2020 because it's felt like it's been 68 years. But how does this, like, how is things not going off? Oh my God.
You know what I have to say also that it can make you feel better for a half a second?
Is it stateside vodka?
No, it's just away from the Eagles. I have a statement I would like to make about another NFL team. Fuck you, Houston Texans.
Wait, should we get into that now or wait until Wednesday? That Vegas turns out might be smarter than we are.
Fuck you, Houston Texans.
Nothing was funnier than you being like, this doesn't make any sense. Why? And then for the Texans and being like, the Patriots definitely win this game. Like, why would the Texans ever win this game? And me being like, the Packers plus 2.5. Why are they underdogs in the first place? And then losing by 3 points. I don't think we could have played it any better if we tried.
So what we have determined in episode 27 of Birds vs. Boys is we are smarter than coaching staffs and GMs in the NFL, but dumber than Vegas.
Are you smarter than your average NFL head coach?
But dumber than Vegas.
But I'm dumber than the people who set lines in Vegas. Oh, man. Yeah. So, okay. Let me rattle off my last Eagles things. They are the biggest momentum killers I have ever seen. 8 rushes in the first drive, fumble. They had back-to-back first downs, and they had a pick 6. They kicked the field goal to make it 12-10, then Nick Chubb rips off a 54-yard run. They get a 3-and-out, and then Greg Ward lets the punt trickle down to the 1. That turns into a safety because Jason Peters sucks at his job. They had 4 offside penalties. They kill their own momentum. Shooting themselves in the foot doesn't even do it justice. They just attach C4 to their knees and then detonate it. That's not even shooting yourself in the foot anymore. What else? They desperately need a CB2. They need another safety. They need linebacker help. They need help on the offensive line. They'll need another tight end if Ertz leaves. They need a number 1 wide receiver.
This is a lot.
Yeah, so here I named 6 things, and they took a backup quarterback in the second round. Like, I just will never be over it. Ever, 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 ever. And that's our show.
Fuck you, Houston Texans. But make sure you tune in. We will be dropping our Thursday normal episode this week on Thanksgiving. So we'll be looking forward to the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team that day. And the Eagles and who?
Oh, this is great. If you are sick of the Eagles, I have bad news for you because they will be on national TV on Monday Night Football next week.
Yeah.
As if it wasn't bad enough. Now the entire world gets them showcased by themselves on Monday night.
That sounds like when E-Rock was on here talking to me. He's like, you got to show this shit show to the entire world.
I did think that today. I'm not going to lie.
Mhm.
I thought about him saying that and just thinking, well, tables have turned. And we will be playing Russell Wilson. So it is.
But he has been turning
This
the
will be
ball
great. This will be great. I can't wait to see the trickle-down effect of a lack of creativity on offense. Means the receiver doesn't get open, so the line doesn't hold up, and Wentz gets killed, and then we'll blame everything on him and do it all again on Monday night. Can't wait.
But we will have a whole preview show for that. We'll give out some picks. Won't call them winners. And our world famous power rankings that will drop on Thursday. But as always, this was
TikTok,
Birds vs. Boys with Kmess and Aidan, powered by Branded Sports and brought to you by King and Queen Vodka, Stateside Vodka. Head over to statesidevodka.com to get all your vodka and bourbon needs for Thanksgiving. And if you live in Pennsylvania, they will deliver it right to you so you don't have to go out in the midst of a pandemic. Fuck you, Houston Texans. Dallas Cowboys are surging, and the Eagles suck. We will catch you next time. Thought Aidan would say something funny.
Oh, sorry.